The page model in Moodle enables a teacher to create a web page instructional resource using a text editor. Text editors allow you to easily create and edit web pages without having to know any web programming code. Just like any web page, your new page can display text, images, sound, video, and various website links. To add a web page, click on Add an Activity or Resource. Scroll down to Resources, click on Page. Again, it gives you a brief description of the actual resource that you're adding and various options so you can make decisions regarding. Click on Add. And enter a name. Enter a description. And display description on the course page so that the participants or students will know exactly what this page is all about and why it has been included. And then as far as the content, you have this user-friendly text editor, but it's also a good idea to type up a draft of your page content in Microsoft Word or Notepad to be prepared to just cut and paste it into the text editor. Note that any formatting may be lost, but in that case, you would just need to have the draft in front of you and use the text editor to make changes in font type, size, color, bold, italics, etc. Okay, I'm going to click in the text editor and then I'm going to select this Paste from Word option. It tells you exactly what to do. Use your Control key, press it, and V to paste your content onto the screen. Now note that this page content has been formatted. It has colors, it has a certain font type, etc. Click on Insert. It looks like when we get over to this page, the colors and all of that has been eliminated. At this point, this is when you would simply just update that because the formatting, was not transferred. I want this to be that color. And then it's just like using Microsoft Word. It's almost as if you're still in it. And let's put this in italics and make it also that same blue color. My virtual office hours, I want that to be that color too. And just for effect, this was in red, so I'm just going to select it and see how easy it is to just change it to red color. Okay, it has some options regarding appearance, display page name, yes, and display page description, yes. Module settings, I do want it to be visible, so show is fine, and this has nothing to do with any groups, so I don't need to select anything there. Let's look at restrict access. Again, that has to do with setting dates and time. I don't want this to be visible at any particular time. I want it to always be visible, so I don't need to select any particular dates. I don't want it to be only visible if they complete a certain assignment. So I don't want to select that. But again, if you would like to have that option, you simply select one of your assignments and say it must be completed along with, let's say, a certain grade point average of 80% in order for them to view this web page. Okay, but in this case, I don't want to do that. I also don't want to make it only available to certain students, which means that I would indicate by student ID number. I don't want to do that either. but it is an option that is available and can be useful for making sure that students complete to a certain amount of competency before they're able to view certain instructional content. Okay, let's select Save and Display. And here's the actual page. And you can just tweak it, look at it, and see, is this the way I want it to look, etc. And you can just keep going back to change it. I'm going to go back to that page and select to update it. Notice that we have the cues there on the page to tell us exactly what happens. I'm going to update it. And I'm just going to share with you something that makes page content in HTML files a little bit easier to work with. And some of you might be familiar with that. And that's including a table to kind of organize the information. Select Insert Table. This is just going to be a simple table, one column, two rows. Cell padding has to do with how close to the edge of the table something is. I'm going to set that at 5. I am going to give it a border just so that I can see the edges of the table while I'm working. That can always be removed. As far as alignment, I want it to be in the center of the page. In other words, I'm really trying to control the content. I don't want it to be spread out over the page if it's not that much content. And in this case, I'm going to leave the content at about 80% of the page so it's not stretched so far. And select Insert. Okay. I am going to take the same content that I originally had. This is in the header area, the top row. So I'm going to select Control C to copy that. And then Control V to paste it into that area. I use the key controls because they work better depending upon what internet browser you're using. In some cases, cutting and pasting using any other form won't work. So I just will use this format. Cut and paste from here. Again, I'm using Control C using the keyboard. And then I'm entering it with Control V. And it just gives you a little bit more control of the information. It's easier to add images and such. Okay, I want to take a look and see. Save and display. Note it's just centered on the page and not so stretched out. So it's simply for visibility that you would use a table. Examples of how web pages are used includes to present general course information such as your virtual communication policies, links to technology support, or links to academic and student support services. It can be used to present a summary of your institution's academic honesty statement, or to provide a list of website links organized by topic to course-related resources. And finally, it can be used to present an overview of a unit, course, or content. Unit or course overview pages are helpful for organizing course content and presenting the general flow of information. It's particularly beneficial from the student perspective to be able to visualize how the course or unit will progress from start to finish.